Um, just gonna be finishing up chapter 3 here. Hopefully, anyway. It could be one of those things where it's a lot longer than we thought. Chapter 3 has been pretty long so far, but let's see what we got here. Ah, there we go. I need to work on smoothing that part out. I feel like half the time I jump in, I'm really what it is it's me forgetting to to actually open the game before starting the stream. Okay, so I'm finally feeling like I'm back to the point where I can do a good bit of reading here. Definitely better than what, like the 65% I was at last time I streamed. So we'll pick up where we left off, which is chapter 3, the ball. So I'm 17 years old. All right, yeah, this should be interesting. Okay, so I'll just read it again. You stand between Thomas and Otan before they can clash. The Archnean eyes you with scorn. You help your friend to his feet, then stand against Otan and look him straight in the eye. A moment later, you follow your stare with a mocking question. Is something amiss? Is the Archnean master so unsure of his nobility that he must assert it before every commoner he sees? Or perhaps he considers such to be his lot? The dance is interrupted. There are ladies' whispers in the hall and eyes watching you. Some judge you, while others grin at the Archnean. What will the High Commander do now? Slowly, Otan looks around, confused for a moment. Then he gets a hold of himself and flashes you a grisly grin. No, human. I will not grace you with the suffering that is your due. You did well to invoke the lots. Now consider your own. Remember this day, the day when Sir Dorius Otan showed you mercy. Having said this, the Archnean walks away to the banner of Magra. Thomas wastes no time dragging you to the opposite end of the hall. By the twins, he looked savage. Seems your words hit home. That Archnean pig couldn't even think of a proper rejoinder. You're a real friend. Thanks. Okay, so almost maxed out our friend's affection. You smile at his praise and then gladly and firmly shake your friend's hand. Out of the corner of your eye, you catch the mysterious masked Archnean lady, all beauty and grace, dancing with Otan. You could have been in his place had you so chosen. Yeah, that we weren't really worried about. We were just, yeah. We kind of know who it is. It wouldn't have worked out anyway, because she's like, even if we were ennobled by the mantle, she would still be out of our class. Because she's Archnean, and from one of the major Archnean families. Alright. Dorius Otan, -2 now. He's got, yeah. Eloquence up by 1, willpower -5, no problem. We seem to gain willpower like it's nobody's business. Alright. Now I'm 18, still a youth for some reason. You have lived another year in the capital. Eterna has been shaken by what is now known as the trial of the 50. 50 people stand trial at once, all prominent members of several political circles. They are accused of treason and conspiracy against the crown. The accused spoke in favor of reducing the power of the nobles and granting more rights to the common estate. There was no mention of rebellion, yet those words alone were enough to indict them. Every session of the trial is open to the public. It is a show of power made to discourage people from forming such circles ever again. You attend one of these sessions. The 50 face their verdict. Forced labor in the mines of Magra and Illyria for regular members, and true death for their leaders, 6 men and 1 woman. Their public execution takes place in the central square of Eterna. You remember the woman. Her name is Annie Siren. She made a speech before her execution. A young woman, not too tall, her face almost plain, with long bangs over her eyes. She looks calm, even at this moment. You cannot believe she is about to leave this world forever. Annie Siren takes a look around before she speaks. Her voice is quiet, but you are close enough to hear every single word. She says she is happy to give her lives fighting for the rights of the people. Her cause will never die, Annie claims. Others like her will continue her work in hiding, for their cause is right and just. She is dragged away to the others. They put a sack over her head and tighten a noose around her neck. A hand yanks on the lever, and the 7 dangle in the air. Their feet tremble at first, then grow still. There are gasps and cries of discontent in the crowd. So, order is increased by 1, but power decreased by 1 with that decision. I didn't get to make that decision. Your studies, well, Sir L. Croix's lesson. So anybody with an L in their name, that's like a major title, or a major family. It's like higher nobility. Your studies at the Imperial College may have begun with a luxurious party, but soon you settle into a routine of lesson after lesson. Along with dozens of other future judges, you spend hours listening to lectures in spacious college halls with high ceilings. You study imperial law and legislation, analyzing every technicality and interpretation. The subjects only get tougher, and the instructors grow ever more demanding as your studies continue. Yet law is not the only thing you study. There are other disciplines as well, such as rhetoric and orthography. A true judge must have a perfect command of both the spoken and written word. Washing dark blue ink off of your fingers becomes an indelible part of your daily routine. Of all your classes, you find the fencing lessons particularly exciting. Every lesson covers your body with more cuts and bruises and makes your muscles ache from exertion, but your childhood dream is worth it. And finally, there comes a short break in your studies. A handful of days for rest and recreation. You meet Thomas to discuss how you are going to spend this time. I need to adjust the sound setting just a wee bit. Okay, hopefully that's a little bit better. I know in past streams it's always been a little loud. You're coming with me tonight. No excuses, Brante. We'll be paying a visit to our mentor, Baron L. Croix. It's time you learned a thing or two about how we do things in the military. Your friend looks very cunning and pleased with himself when he says this. With a sigh, you change out of your college uniform and into your best clothes and follow him. Thomas rushes you to a 2-story house somewhere in a noble neighborhood in the capital. Its windows are open, and you can hear people talking over each other. The house's sitting room is filled with young people, at least 24 men, almost all of them academy cadets. In the middle of the sitting room is an armchair, and in this armchair is a gentleman wearing the uniform of an Imperial Legion officer and smoking a pipe. His thick hair falls over his large observant eyes. Baron L. Croix welcomes the two of you with a slight nod and continues his speech while everyone listens respectfully. As I was saying, young men, I firmly believe that the days when all the military glory of the Empire belonged to the Arachnean dynasties are long gone. Human nobles have been serving the Empire, at least as well as the Arachnean nobles, for a long time now. Still, the Arachneans keep acting like their origins are more important than honor and service to the crown. Take the Melanitis dynasty, for example, the Archdukes of Magra, long ago. Their leader, Char Melanitis, fomented a rebellion against the rule of the Tempests and the Twins' faith. He sucked all life from his own land, doomed thousands of his own subjects, and yet the Melanitis dynasty still rules over Magra like nothing ever happened. I did notice that. That was rather strange. That female Arachnean wearing the mask or whatever, she's a Melanitis. Or Melanadius, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. Anyway, Then suddenly Sir Elcroy fashes a cunning grin. I think this calls for a test of your strategic thinking, young men. But first, let me refresh your memory on the rebellion of Char Milanitis. It may seem surprising, but we have him to thank for our current status. He was the first to ennoble humans, an act of unprecedented insolence, but it gave the rebellious Duke immense support in his province. He risked his own reputation and title to make himself stronger thanks to humans, and in that, he succeeded. No one had ever dared challenge the rule of the Archneans and Tempests before, but the rebellion of Magra changed everything. Humans became a part of the nobility. We got a taste of the power only the Archneans could wield before, and unless I'm mistaken, most nobles in the Empire these days are human. Why, we outnumber the members of the Archnean dynasty dozens of times over. So, Char Milanitis had complete rule and control over the lands of Magra. He had the loyalty of his ennobled human subjects, and he had the loyalty of the mages and witches who fled to Anazat, the only place in the Empire where they could hide from the Church. The Archduke of Magra had everything he needed to win, and yet two pivotal changes brought him down. First of all, he cast a magic spell that incinerated the entire province. It certainly stopped the Imperial legions in their tracks, but the population of Magra would no longer side with Char Milanitis after that. Second, the clergy struck at the rebellious Duke with the power of the twins. His magic was gone, and his main advantage was no more. Many fled, but as you know, it still took the Empire an entire month of siege before the palace in Anazat was taken. After the rebellion of Magra, the Empire changed drastically, and most importantly, humans finally received their lawful right to be ennobled. And I'd like to stress that in particular, ennobled not by birth, but by virtue of their own knowledge and talent. History, young men, is more than just a memory of the past. It is also a lesson for our future. I believe that part of our history proves my point. And now, a test. Tell me, if you were among the Imperial strategists during the rebellion, what would you have done? How would you have fought an enemy as powerful as Char Milanitis? With this, Sir Elcroy leans back in his armchair and takes a pull from his pipe while the cadets start discussing. Some take no time to say they cannot believe Sir Elcroy thinks humans were first ennobled by serving the rebellious Duke. Others say the prolonged palace siege might have been a mistake, and storming the palace would have been a better choice. Soon ideas start flying. Some cause only laughter, while others lead to debate. They are discussing the past of Anazat, the past of your hometown. You cannot possibly stay silent now. If you were in command of the Imperial legions back then, what would you have done? Based on what you know about the rebellion of Magra, you see three potential strategies. The first involves calling upon the twins' miracles to rob Milanitis of magic and render him powerless. The second entails putting your faith in the discipline and valor of the army for a frontal assault. The third means drawing out the siege while making the enemy's life as hard as possible through cunning. Which of these three strategies would you have chosen? I don't want to say I would rely on the will of the twins. Because really him struggling to wield the power of magic, right? And his decision to actually burn the whole land, while it did offer a temporary reprieve of the attacking Imperial forces, that ultimately contributed to his downfall. So I would have let him keep his magic, right? Because he would have lost the backing of his own people. I guess if he has magic and you press for a decisive assault, he's gonna, the losses are gonna be heavy in that respect. But if you give him magic and you let him make a fool of himself by simply sitting back and just laying siege to the palace, that would probably work best. You decided it's time for you to answer Sir L. Croix. The proper way to bring down the castle of Anazat would have been through a prolonged siege, you say. The lands of Magra could no longer feed the warriors of Charmillanitis at that stage of the rebellion, and when their supplies eventually ran out, they would have opened the gate from the inside. Sir L. Croix looks at you, studying you attentively. I agree with what you're saying, young Brante. In a sense, had the Imperial forces done that, they would have lost fewer men and kept the palace of Anazat intact. Yet you are missing my other point here. Milanitis' army would have continued fighting, even emaciated by the siege, even with their numbers dwindling. True, some did flee, but those who stayed to defend the city and the castle, even after the Imperial forces broke in, remained loyal to their lord until the very end. Long ago, only Archnians had the right to wield weapons and wage war, but now humans can prove their merit and earn the same right, humans like ourselves. And the present empire has grown even stronger thanks to its new warriors and functionaries. These days, humans can judge and rule and create. The terrors wrought by the rebellious Duke are undeniable, yet his rebellion created new possibilities for all of us. And this, young men, is the moral of the story. Charmillanitis was defeated, but not by the clergy and their prayers, and not even the noble militias assembled by other archdukes. He was vanquished by the imperial legions, a unified army with clear regulations and ranks, and a clear chain of command. An army that is strong in discipline and loyalty to the emperor. His eyes finally move away from you and back the rest of the young men in the hall. But nobody else dares to argue with the battle-hardened officer. The evening continues. Sir L. Croix shares some of his war stories, each more astounding than the last. For the rest of the night, you are out of the Baron's center of attention, and so you join Thomas and the other cadets in sipping wine and enjoying his tales. You return to the college long after midnight. You often recall Baron L. Croix's story about the rebellion of Charmillanitis after that. The rebellious Duke lost the war, and yet he brought about drastic changes for the humans in the entire empire. There are days when you receive letters from home. Father's writing is very reserved. He mostly discusses events and work in Magra and writes very little about the family. It makes me proud that I have managed to teach Stefan how to handle our affairs at home. Your older brother behaves impeccably at the society balls and receptions that we host. He has already made several crucial acquaintances. But Gloria has a different opinion of Stefan. She thinks your older brother is taking more and more after grandfather. Stefan is a lot like grandfather. It's in his manners, his posture, his voice. He even dresses just like him. He used to be aloof around me and we barely talked in the past. But now he always blames me and tears me apart. I can't take it anymore. He walks all over me all the time and treats me like a housemaid. Mother writes to you. From her letters, you learn that Nathan just barely managed to graduate from school. Well, that's great, Nathan. Look, a win is a win, man. It makes me sad to admit that Nathan has none of the talents you have. The other day, he told me he won't even try to study in the capital. He says he won't be able to pass the exams. I find solace only in the nights Nathan and I spend together reading the scriptures and our walks to the church by the silver tree. He accompanies me every time. Your sister and younger brother write about Mother too, and they say the same thing about her health. She now spends more time locked away in her chambers to brood. Gloria does her best to accompany Mother when she leaves home, and Nathan's letters mention her steps echoing in the halls in the middle of the night. There's one more thing Nathan mentions in his letters. Stefan and Gloria have been fighting very often these days. Stefan always tries to get under Gloria's skin, and she answers him in kind. Then Stefan calls her a lowly commoner to make her shut up. You always tremble in excitement each time you see a new letter with the seal of your home province. Your fate is still bound tightly to your families, no matter the distance between you. Well, daggone, I did nothing! What? I didn't even get a chance to make him mad. I just read some letters, dude. What are you mad at me for? Wow, okay. What did I do? Not write back? It's -1 from everybody. You will become a judge one day. The first case, sorry. You will become a judge one day, so you are sent to the prefecture of Eterna to be mentored by a more experienced colleague. Your mentor is a judge of considerable age, a noble of the mantle with a proud bearing about him. He never misses a chance to remind you that being mentored by such an experienced man of office is a great honor. Your mentor entrusts you with his minor cases, and, to his great joy, his night shift. Another night begins. The office is growing darker. You are still there, zealously filling out the paperwork for the day. A petty theft, a verbal assault against the noble of the sword by a commoner, a fine for the parents of children who covered an imperial institution with obscene drawings. Petty cases, all of them. But they are real cases a judge has to face. And so you sit there carefully comparing complaints, statements, and witness testimony. Then the door of your office swings open. Whoa, whoa, whoa. A gendarme drags in a provocatively dressed girl. Her golden hair is undone. Her makeup is a fiery red. Girls like her sell their bodies in houses of ill repute. Yeah, I bet. The next to enter the office is a stout priest, his face adorned by a nose of a remarkable shape and a huge wart on his cheek. You do your best to avoid staring at it. Yeah, that's always an awkward situation, ain't it? Whoops. The gendarme gives his report. The girl was arrested with a certain gentleman in the park by the Temple of the Twins. They were commuting acts of carnality, an affront to the faith. The huffing and puffing priest interrupts him and starts yelling. He saw her doing magic. He did. The gentleman was enthralled by the girl, and he was he was glowing like a lamppost. You gesture for the priest to stay quiet and ask if the gendarme can prove this. The gendarme only shrugs. He didn't see anyone glowing. He arrested the girl for her sacrilegious conduct alone. The man in her company was a noble, so the gendarme didn't bring himself to arrest him. He does, however, remember his name. The priest is huffing and puffing even louder now. It was magic, he screams. You must refer to this case to the Inquisition. This witch was loose on the streets of the Empire's illustrious capital, seducing good men with her vile charms. Yeah, right. The girl stays quiet all the while. Her eyes are emerald green, twinkling with gold as she looks at you. When she does speak, her voice is soft like smooth velvet. My name is Aeolus, Your Honor. All I did was obey the noble gentleman's wish. He wanted my affection, right by the temple, and I dared not oppose him. I did not defy my lot, did I? The wench looks up and meets her gaze as she says these words. Her eyes reflect the candlelight in the dusk, sending sparks of gold dancing across the walls. The gendarme stands awkwardly by the door, sighing. The priest goes off on another rant. You tell him to be quiet. The day is not over yet. You must decide how to resolve this unusual case on your own. The law says the judge must investigate all circumstances related to a case. You know the name of the nobleman who was seen with this girl in the throes of passion. The gendarme was afraid to question him, but you are a future nobleman yourself, a young judge. Surely you can find a way to resolve this matter with discretion and get the information you need from the nobleman. But perhaps this suspicious lady of evening, Aeolus, is at the heart of the matter. You have no doubt she will reveal her true colors if you question her. If the priest was right about her using magic, the girl's fate is sealed. Your Honor. It sounds like she's using magic whenever she's talking to me. You look up from your desk and into the eyes of the beautiful Aeolus, and you suddenly feel as though a divine light is shining upon you. This emotion flows like a river. It lifts you up. This is more than beauty, more than passion. This is much, much more. Will you resist this call, or will you heed it? Something is off about this streetwalker. You have to find the truth, even if it is the last thing you do in this life. Find the nobleman. You find the nobleman who was allegedly in Aeolus's company and question him delicately about the incident. This is one of those things where I could choose to use willpower to interrogate her, but I feel like interrogating her isn't really going to get me far, because obviously she is doing some kind of magic. Is she making dudes glow? I guess you could say. I don't know, but there's definitely something weird about when she's talking. I could use my willpower. I don't know. I mean, at the very least, she's gonna be guilty of violating the law of decency, I guess, but because it doesn't really matter how I feel. Like, I'm not a nobleman yet, which means that I have to play ball 100% of the time. And she did in fact violate a law for fact. Whether she did magic or not is really the only question here. So what is the point of interrogating her? Yeah, even if it's the last thing you do in this life, that sounds kind of sketch. I feel like I'm gonna get another soft death. Find the nobleman is what we're gonna do. I mean, you tell the gendarme to take the girl to a holding cell. Her eyes are filled with chagrin and pity as the man takes her away. You compose a polite and thorough letter to Sir Diego El Catoir, the nobleman seen with the girl in question. You delicately hint that his reputation will be safe and promise full confidentiality. When you come into the office the next morning, you see a nervous young nobleman waiting at the door. You must be Judge Brante, he says. You meet Sir El Catoir with a dignified greeting and start questioning him on the case of Alice the Harlot. Is it true that the two of them ended up in the Temple Park because this was Sir El Catoir's wish? He says he barely remembers last night. He was quite inebriated and determined to have a good time. He spotted Alice by accident. She was standing under a lamppost by the temple. As for the Temple Park, he does not quite remember why they ended up there. You take his statement in accordance with established procedure. Next question. Would Sir El Catoir say his mind was clouded by the young woman? I'm willing to bet he will. The nobleman turns red. He asks quietly, haven't you seen the lass yourself, Sir Brante? How could anyone ignore her? Still, you ask, was there anything suspicious about her? He speaks slowly. Yes, it was as though she could see his every desire, and he was happy beyond measure in her embrace. It felt like the gods themselves are smiling at him, Sir El Catoir. And yet, perhaps it was merely the wine and her beauty and nothing else. You thank the young nobleman for his honesty, promise to keep his statement a carefully guarded secret. You sentence the harlot to 2 days in a pillory for defiling a place of worship with her depravity. You find no reason to refer Alice to the Inquisition, however. That's kind of the exact same conclusion I was going to arrive at. You write case closed on Alice's file and put it in the archives. Yeah, I mean, like, seriously, that's exactly what I was thinking during that interview as well. You saved the enigmatic singer known as the Golden Voice from an untimely death. I didn't know she was a singer, I just thought she was a hooker. But okay. Man, I was only 18 during that. Could you imagine like an 18-year-old actually handling like some kind of legal complication of yours? Weird. The Overseer of Magra. 2 major events take place while you are busy living your life. Firstly, Cornelius Tempest is no longer the great chancellor of the empire. He has been ousted and sent back to his province. Ooh, that's scary. His replacement is the Archduke of Monia, Aegirius Monrogue. The same Monrogue who sought to shut down the college. The most powerful lord in the realm finally convinced the emperor that his brother Cornelius was giving too much freedom to the little one. Now the policies of the empire will be reversed. Many fear that the new great chancellor will destroy the imperial code of laws and other achievements of Cornelius. There are cautious rumors among the people. They say the new great chancellor is going to revoke the right of the common lot to be ennobled by the mantle. Secondly, Magra, your homeland, now has a new overseer, Gaius Tempest, the other brother of Emperor Uther II. Usually the overseer of a province is its archduke. After all, it makes sense for the province's most powerful noble to impart the emperor's will to the locals. Yet now, this age-old tradition has been broken, and to no one's surprise, Archduke Tarquinius Milanitis is absolutely furious. Gaius Tempest used to be the main supporter of his brother, former great chancellor Cornelius Tempest. The nobles at the emperor's court say this is a stratagem by the Archenian gentry We want Gaius removed from court affairs along with Cornelius. Either way, Gaius Tempest and Tarquinius Melanitis will be at each other's throats over the province. This does not bode well for their future. Only one thing is clear. Magra, your home province, is about to face great changes. That is a brilliant situation, politically speaking, because the whole situation, I feel like at this point, why they ousted the chancellor, who was in favor of helping give power to the commoners, right? But then on top of that, his other very powerful ally, they decided to make him in charge of Magra, right? To pit him against the other powerful Archnean family that could have given the new chancellor a run for his money, if not completely dealt with it. So they're playing two parties that both kind of want the same thing against each other. And it's not to say that the Melanitis is still, along the same lines as like Shar and the whole rebellion, but they're gonna end up fighting each other and wasting a lot of their energies. So they could bide their time and combine their forces. So the struggle for power and peace. I don't know how that created peace. You would think they just created further discontent. A great feast for all. The capital is preparing for a great celebration. The coming of age of Jerian Tempest. Ooh, wait a minute. Heir to the throne. Okay, fun fact. The streets are being cleaned. The low-born merchants are gone from the squares, and flags and flower garlands have appeared on the buildings. By the Emperor's decree, everyone will celebrate for the next 3 days. So, if you look at this game in Steam, right, you're gonna see that they are coming out with a second game soon. Matter of fact, it doesn't have an actual announced date. But anyway, the whole point of this, the game is called, I believe it's called The Struggles of Prince Jerian. So maybe we get to play the game from the perspective of Archnean nobility. A Tempest, nevertheless. I don't know. Would be kind of cool. Eterna is abuzz. A festive procession starts on the streets. Students from the college and cadets from the military academy will be there to show their gratitude to the Emperor's family for entrusting them with the power they wield. Ribbons and flags flutter in the wind. The streets are scrubbed clean and the scent of flowers fills the air. You march side by side with Thomas, carrying the banner of your province. Your friend's brown hair is unusually well combed today. He waves to every girl you see on the streets as you pass by. They giggle shyly, and some of them wave back. Did you see that, pal? Look at that beauty. She just smiled at me. Now this is what I call living. I just love parades. The Tempest royal family observes the slowly approaching parade from the balcony of the Imperial Palace. They are joined by the Empire's highest dignitaries and provincial overseers. You see Emperor Uther II with your own eyes. There, high above, yet so close. The columns come to a halt at the balcony and salute the Emperor with the mottos of the college and the academy. You join the other college students in crying, "Learning is strength, learning is will." The Emperor raises his hand in a gesture of benevolent greeting. His voice echoes across the square. I accept your gratitude, my loyal subjects. Take pride as you wield your knowledge and valor in service of the Empire. All who are worthy will be ennobled by the mantle, by my grace. Okay, well, I'll believe it when I see it, buddy. The future nobles around you cheer the Emperor's words, but their jubilation gives way to murmurs of discontent when Archduke Monroe, the new Great Chancellor of the Empire, steps onto the balcony. Everyone here remembers all too well how the Archduke attempted to shut down the college by force. Still, the Archduke is the de facto leader of the Archnean gentry. He is a force to be reckoned with, even for the Emperor, and so he is the Great Chancellor now. Hail your Emperor, common folk. Be forever obedient and grateful for the good graces you do not deserve by birth. The Archduke does not even bother to hide his contempt for the gathering below. Booed by the crowd, he rejoins the dignitaries in the back row. You notice one of them, a slender, elegant figure under an emerald banner with a black snake. She is Octavia Milanitis, daughter to the Archduke of Magra. That's the girl we almost danced with until Thomas decided to bump into somebody. Now that's new. You notice Octavia too, huh? Our Archduke Milanitis sent his daughter in his stead. That's a sign of disrespect for the Emperor if I ever seen one. Is he so enraged because he's no longer the overseer of Magra? I mean, you can imagine his surprise. That's never happened before. But then everyone grows silent. A young, slender Archnian with a shy smile comes forth. There are whispers in the crowd. That's Prince Agerian, heir to the throne. Word of Cornelius, promise and hope of the common estate. To the left of Agerian is his younger brother Flavius. He is baffled at the sight of the parade below, too young to process what he is seeing. May the twins be kind to you, my future subjects. I promise to repay you in kind and help you prosper in your loyal service to the Empire. Exalted by these words, the future nobles roar as one. All hail Prince Agerian. Another figure steps into view next to the heir. He is an Archnian, elegantly dressed, and his mantle bears the Tempest colors. He raises his arms, about to make a speech. Hey look, that's Gaius Tempest, the Emperor's brother, and the new overseer of Magra by the by. It seems the Archnian elders want him as far from the throne as possible, just like his other brother Cornelius. Those two have been promising too many freedoms to commoners like you and me. Long live Prince Agerian! Students of the college, cadets of the academy, time and again you have proven yourselves to the Empire by word and deed. Today is a great day of celebration, and in honor of Prince Agerian, you must ask the Emperor to guarantee forever the right of distinguished common folk to be ennobled by the mantle. So ask now. The cadets and students freeze in hesitation. They exchange glances, unsure whether to follow the words of the Emperor's own brother. On the balcony high above, Prince Agerian also remains still, awaiting a reaction from the crowd. Archduke Monroe briskly steps into view once more. He takes several seconds to observe the crowd before he speaks. Imperial subjects, what the Emperor's brother wishes to say is that you must always remember that you owe your status to the Tempest dynasty. The Emperor accepts your gratitude and sends you off with his blessing. You may leave now. But the columns stay where they are. That's not what Gaius Tempest said. Let the Emperor hear us. The law. We ask for the law. Commotion and murmurs spread over the crowd as some of the future nobles refuse to follow the Archduke's order. There are shouts heard here and there. The law. We ask for the law. The academy officers and teachers of the college urge them to fall in line and resume the parade, but tension is rising. The crowd slowly grows enraged and unruly. You have to decide where you stand here. Who wants to end up joining the losing side too early? This is that thing we gotta die for, you know? This is what it's always been about. You join the call to have your right to nobility codified. There you go. You cry out in support of Gaius Tempest's call for the law. You have the right to be heard, and you have the right to ask. Your voice grows stronger. Soon others join you. The chant grows louder with every second. The law, the law. Inspired by the support of your fellow students and cadets, you move through the square and urge others to join you. Thomas walks by your side, waving his arms wildly, inciting others to shout along with you. The law, the law. You, Thomas, and other vocal students and cadets gather in the very center of the square. Academy officers are trying to shout you into submission and order you back into the procession. They are barely heard above your chant. Still, some submit and form back into the columns, but the impassioned chant continues, and you are at the very heart of the chanting crowd. An Imperial Guard cavalry regiment emerges from the palace. They start slowly advancing on the crowd, hands on their swords, pushing people out of the square. You have to stand your ground, so you start giving orders to defend the cobblestones beneath your feet with your fellow future nobles. You assemble into a double chain formation around the center of the square. It is strong enough to prevent the Imperial Guard from reaching the very center. The commoners go running left and right away from the horses, but the cavalry stops when it reaches your double chain. They cannot break through unless they are ordered to attack, and so they halt and wait for orders. The horses paw at the cobblestones, the cavalry swords are drawn, ready to come crashing down upon your heads. It is a standoff between the armor-clad cavalry and the unarmed students and cadets. Emperor Uther II appears on the balcony again, joined by his brother Gaius Tempus and the heir to the throne Gerion Tempus. With his gesture, the emperor calls for attention. The square falls silent at the sight of the sovereign. My subjects, I have heard your request. There is no need to repeat it again and again. The great imperial council shall review my brother's proposal. Now follow your lot and obey my will. Continue the parade and sing the praises to the ever-merciful Prince Gerion. These words from the emperor are enough to quell the commotion in the square. The standoff ends, and the cavalry withdraws. Well, would you look at that, old friend? We did it. We stood up for our noble right and we won. That's the emperor's word. That's what our courage can do. Voices from the crowd are quick to disprove Thomas. The emperor never gave his word. He only promised to review the proposal. People begin to argue around you again. This time, however, no one wishes to disobey the orders from on high. And so the students line up into columns once again. The bout of defiance is in the past now, and everyone resumes the festive parade through the city streets. Glory to Emperor Uther, glory to Prince Gerion. Valor +1, seasoned warrior. So yeah, you know, I feel like maybe I'm kind of pushing my luck a lot with this. I'm kind of, you know, fully anticipating dying every time I do that. I don't think it'd be a permanent death, though. I mean, there's a chance that it could be, but I think that would require a trial, right? We'll see. The way of the sword. Your studies at the college come easily to you. Only now do you realize the importance of all the lessons you had to endure as a child at father's expense. Month after month, you study the judge's trade down to the smallest details, growing more confident in your new calling with every lecture. But there is more to your education than the judge's trade in imperial law. You also learn manners and courtly etiquette, and poetry and composition, and even fencing. On some days you go with Thomas to a deserted patch of land to practice with the sword. Then finally, the day your judge's exam comes. You send your test results to father, and he replies with an appointment to a judge's office at the prefecture of Magra. Now you have a new life and a new profession back home. You will return to your hometown as a judge. Yeah! Alright. We managed to die absolutely zero deaths the entire time that we were in Eterna. Which, you know, I figured it'd be like a busy city, so maybe something crazy would happen while I was there. Which, I mean, there was like a lot of political unrest, but I'm gonna be returning to Magra, a noble. It is early morning at the Great Temple of the Twins. Your heart skips a beat as you step inside the temple. It feels like that day from your childhood again. The priest is standing at the altar and the temple is divided into two halves. But you are no longer a frightened little child anymore. You are now a grown man who's about to become a noble. The floor on the common side is there to cause pain. You feel the jagged edges even through the soles of your boots. This pain marks your final few seconds as a commoner. The priest stands before you. You kneel again, but now there's a warm, smooth marble under your knees. You hear the words spoken above your head. From this day forth, your lot is strength and will. From this day forth, you will rule and fight and pursue the arts. Now rise, noble. You place your lips on the smooth steel of the sword, and when you rise again, you realize that the trembling you felt ever since your first sacrament is now completely gone. You arise a new man, your every motion now uncannily accurate, your thoughts surprisingly fresh, your muscles ready to face and fight. This day feels worthy of a poem, and now you can compose one if you wish. You touch your back, the mark of the lash from your previous sacrament is gone completely, erased forever. Nice. You hurry from the sacrament back to your room at the college. Your father's gift awaits you there. A sword. Your very own sword. Now to celebrate, all college students are invited to the college tournament. Then a party. The sword feels wonderful in your hand. A promise of future victories. The tournament begins. The stands are loud with anticipation. Never in your entire life have you seen so many beautiful noble ladies in one place. But there is only one who attracts everybody's attention. The raven-haired, black-eyed Octavia Melanitis, the daughter to the Archduke of Magra, has graced the tournament with a visit. She is wearing a dress of emerald green, her austere hairdo immaculate. She is surrounded by her ladies-in-waiting, all beauties in their own right. When a noble enters the tournament, he must announce the name of the lady whose honor he is fighting for. Interesting. Okay. Many shout the names of their loved ones in the stalls. You know that many would fight for Octavia Melanitis, but the onus of responsibility is too great. You take a few jabs of the sword, warming up for the fight. Soon it is your turn. All eyes are on you now. The young lady Octavia hides her face behind the hand fan, yet her eyes watch you with curiosity, because she remembers me. She does. And now that Thomas isn't bumping into any Arcanians, right? Now we're gonna we're gonna shoot that shot. All right, we're gonna fight in Octavia's name. Wait. Yes. I get it, father. We're gonna fight in Octavia's name though. Even if we lose, let me see this. You approach the stalls and shout clearly and loudly. You will fight for the honor of the young Duchess Octavia Melanitis. Slowly she rises from her seat. The stalls grow quiet. If you suffer defeat after such insolent words, you may face the ire of one of the ancient Arcanian dynasties. Yeah, that's very true. Sir Beef Brante? How do I know this name? Ah yes, you have already dared to draw my attention once. In memory of our amusing encounter, I will grant you the honor of fighting in my name. Do not disgrace it. The stalls explode with applause, celebrating your courage. The first fight begins. The rules are the same as for any noble duel. Whoever draws first blood wins. Your first opponent does not put up much of a fight. A few minutes later, he misses a jab to the thigh. Your shirt is soaked with sweat. The hilt of your sword feels slippery in your wet fingers. From behind her emerald hand fan, Octavia watches you closely from her seat. You prevail in 3 fights in a row and prepare to face a new opponent. You know him well. He was mentored at the prefecture of Eterna after you. He is unusually quick and nimble fighter. He catches you with a feint, then follows it up with a light jab to the side. Fair enough. 3 victories. Not bad. You salute Octavia Melanitis with your sword, and she gracefully accepts your gesture. You have proven yourself well, Sir Brante. Who knew you would become a noble, and we would meet again, here in the capital of the Empire. I must say, I am amazed. The eyes of the young Archduchess follow you even as you leave the arena. You will remember this day for the rest of your life, the day when you became a noble. Well, yeah, not only did we become a noble, right? But like, come on. We, rizzed up Octavia Melanitis a little bit. She's intrigued now. Still, I'm pretty sure she's like way out of my class, but she's a Melanitis. Still unknown, but my diplomacy has been gaining some points here recently. Graduated from the college the year 1137. You have earned the judge's mantle and the noble title. Winter. Diamant stands trial. Just before you leave the capital, you overhear something unusual on the street. Junius Diamant, Patriarch of Astinia and one of the leaders of the New Faith, will now stand trial before a church tribunal. The Order of the Inquisition has accused Patriarch Junius of patronizing blasphemous witches and disseminating heresy. Oh, that was only a matter of time, wasn't it? The Holy Tribunal claims that Junius Diamant was scheming to free all witches and sorcerers from the collars that fetter their accursed powers. And what's worse, the Patriarch was also accused of forming the Lawless, a dangerous secret society based in the imperial capital. Members of this society have been assaulting inquisitors and priests of the church, as well as freeing witches from the cleansing fire and helping them escape the holy law. Now the Patriarch must face the Holy Tribunal of the Inquisition in Eterna. By all accounts, this is a devastating blow to the new faith and the end of the days for Junius Diamant himself. The Inquisition will make the most of this opportunity to rid the land of this unwelcome Patriarch who dared to shake the foundation of the old faith. But then comes the sudden news of Patriarch Junius's reply to the Holy Tribunal. It is no less stunning than the accusation. Hold on, give me 1 second. But then comes the sudden news, alright, blah 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 blah. These words are nothing but lies. I will say this to anyone who dares to bring this accusation against me in person. But I want those hypocrites to bear the full weight of their responsibility for this slander against me, my flock, the Diamant dynasty, and the Holy Order. I agree to stand trial before the Holy Tribunal, but I will face them on my own land and on my terms. Patriarch Junius has already received strong support from Patriarch Luke and many priests across Archnia. Parishes of the New Faith throughout the Empire are now speaking out in support of Junius Diamant. The Church of the Twin Gods is about to be rent in twain. The Inquisition has no choice but to revoke the trial in order to avert the coming schism. Their new official stance is that Patriarch Junius has been wrongfully accused, and the Holy Tribunal will now apply more cautious judgment during any further trials against the followers of the New Faith. Following the teachings of Patriarch Photis is no longer seen as heresy by the Inquisition. Interesting. So the Inquisition doesn't really want to make things any worse, but it seems like the Holy Tribunal, which is the people pressing the accusations, right, is deferring from them, which is also, I mean, that's really what he's been doing, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's actually what he's been doing. But at the same time, I'm a noble now, so I don't care. You know, like, I support it. The trial of Junius Diamant has been averted, but the divide within the church is only deepening. The new faith has directly challenged the old faith. The result is uncertain, depending on who you ask. Some say Junius Diamant all but pled guilty. Others believe the Patriarch and the alleged rebellion against the church, as well as the Inquisition, is nothing but a ruse. There are also people who think the entire situation sounds like one of the secret chancellery's dirty deeds. One way or another, the Patriarch of Astinia and co-leader of the New Faith remains at his post. But for how long? And how will the old faith and the new faith clash next? Ruh-roh. A farewell to the capital. The Reglata and Talrina rivers meet outside the city walls. You have barely left the capital since you came here all those years ago. A breeze is blowing in your face, and the bright noon sun hangs above the shining pillar. Your stay in Eterna has come to an end. You arrived here a boy, full of hopes and aspirations, driven by your family's expectations, and a desire to live your life as you saw fit. And now you have to leave, and this thought fills you with gentle sadness. Eterna did not become your home, and yet here you have finally found your path. Here in the capital, you became a nobleman and a judge. Now you are one of the rulers, the warriors, the pleasure seekers, the creators, those who spill their blood for the empire in family and honor, those who keep and honor the age-old traditions. This is your lot now. You are to work in the prefecture of your home province as a judge. Your path to this goal was a long one, and your friend Thomas was by your side all the while. You fondly recall your walks through the streets of Eterna, your secret fencing lessons, your heartfelt discussions. You have no doubt your future back in Anazat will be full of glory. And then you recall the black, enigmatic eyes of Octavia Milanitis, an Archnean from one of the great dynasties, a woman whose beauty and majesty make you tremble. You heard she would be returning to the court of her father, the Archduke in Magra. Will you ever see her again? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I will. I'm willing to bet. something about that. You will meet father once more. He tends to hide his feelings, but not this time. After all, you have fulfilled all his hopes, succeeded in your studies, and continued your family's noble legacy. Many things must have changed back home by now. You recall your older brother Stefan. Now that you have been ennobled, you are practically equals at last. This means you should follow an old tradition and bring Stefan a gift. And so you head for the market district of Eterna. Soon you are busy trying out swords at a weaponsmith's shop. There's a lot to consider for this gift. Stefan is taller and his shoulders are broader, which means his sword must be heavier and longer. There can be no embellishments. Stefan would scoff at you if you brought him an extravagant weapon. At last, you find a suitable sword. Blackened steel, a subtle ornament of leaves on the blade, and a grip shaped like woman vines. What? It resembles the seared soil of Magra beneath the silver tree. You choose the sheath with the same diligence. There, a light wooden frame bound in thin, yet sturdy leather will make the blade easy to draw, and the buckle is sturdy enough. You leave the shop satisfied. You leave the capital the morning after. Eterna, the city where you spent 4 years, slowly disappears on the horizon. Will you ever see the capital again? You do not know. The sword, a gift for Stefan, is in your hands. Alright, +1 for Stefan. After 4 years in the capital, you return to your home city of Anazat. The end of youth. The years of your youth have come to an end. The time has come to leave the capital behind and return to your family and new business in your hometown of Anazat. The years away from home were full of tumult and hardship. Your adult shoulders now bear the burden of your first life-changing decisions. Did you have the freedom to choose this lot for yourself? Or was it your destiny all along? Ever since your childhood years? All you can do now is follow the path that lies before you. Alright. Important life events that happened to you during youth. In the year 1134, you arrived at the capital. 1135, you chose the path of the nobleman. When I had to barge into the college, swore an oath of friendship to Thomas. Rescued a hooker named Alis, who may or may not be practicing magic. Graduated from college the year after that. Cool. All pretty straightforward. Diplomacy did not. Well, it did actually. It went up like 2 points, I think, if I recall. Looking pretty good. I think there's one stat that is a little on the low side. That is manipulation. Cool. A new chapter. Are you ready?
A full adult now, I returned from the capital a changed man. Yet, my hometown was not the same as I had left it. Fate had difficult times in store for all of us.
Chapter 4. Peacetime. As the carriage wheels clack a steady rhythm over the cobblestones, you watch the lands of Magra, rendered dry and desolate by ancient magic, sail by the window. Sail by the window. I don't know what that means. You are back in your home province, but you are no longer the boy who left it by this very road 4 years ago. You return a nobleman and a judge. You are continuing the family trade. You have returned to serve at the province's prefecture. Your home, Anazat, is but a few hours away along this dusty road. The carriage is stuffy and hot from the sun, even with the thick blinders shut tight. It is a familiar heat, but you will now need to get used to it again. The heat weighs heavy on you, but it also reminds you of your childhood. You will see your family soon again. Again soon. To pass the time before you return home, you read your father's most recent letter. Again and again, you carefully reread your father's uneasy words, steeling yourself for your first real job in the service that awaits. Dear Beef, I anxiously await your return, my son. You're the third judge in our bloodline, the pride of our family. Yet these are hard times for a judge. By the Emperor's decree, Archduke Tarquinius Milanitis is no longer the overseer of Magra. The new overseer is the Emperor's own brother, Gaius Tempest, and now our province has been split by enmity and strife between the Archduke and the overseer. The nobles have split into two factions, and so too have the commoners. Some side with the Archduke, loyal to their liege and determined to follow the traditions of old, yet many judges and officials are eager to side with Gaius Tempest as the new overseer. Compared to his brother Cornelius, he is less radical and more cautious, but he too seeks to transform the empire and bring the estates to peace. Yet other Archnians are outraged that Duke Milanitis has been deposed. One among them is Dorius Otan, High Commander of Magra. Interesting. Although Otan and his men are sworn to serve Gaius Tempest and follow his orders, it is no secret that his loyalty remains with the Archduke. While Gaius and the Archduke are at odds, there has been no open confrontation yet. I fear their patience may one day run dry. Okay, well, since we're at the beginning of chapter 4, I just want to add in some speculation here. Dorius Otan does not, obviously the whole issue at the ball, right? But then when you think about the deeper situation, if I end up pursuing this whole Altavia Milanitis situation, that's also probably going to get under the skin of Otan, because I'm pretty sure Otan is going after her as well, and he would be the one really more suited because they're both Archnians. I don't know, we'll see. But you know what, I bet this whole Dorius Otan situation probably gets solved by the magic girl. I can't remember her name right now, from several chapters really. We'll see if she pops up. I mean, she has no reason not to, really. So that this is going to be an interesting chapter. Let's see where we're at on stream time here. Okay. Yeah, we're only an hour in. We've got plenty of time. We'll dig in a little bit here. Whoops. There you go, just breaking everything in. Yeah, we're only an hour in. So we didn't have much of chapter 3 left, is what it seems like. Okay. As for the judges at the prefecture, every day we deal with more and more litigation between nobles and commoners. Yet there are no imperial laws that clearly formalize the rights of all three estates. Wisdom, honor, and conscience are every judge's best advisors these days. You made the choice to serve the law, and you will have your work cut out for you. You will answer directly to Prefect Augustine Elborn, a long-standing friend of the family. I remember him. He needs strong allies now more than ever. With the support of people such as you and I, the Prefect intends to alter the fate of our province. I am looking forward to seeing you back in Anazot, Beef. You put the letter back in your pocket. The walls of Anazot have finally emerged on the horizon. A challenging job at the prefecture awaits you, but first you are going home. Why, so everybody can hate me for no reason? Alright, whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa. See, this whole outcomes of the chapter page at the start of every chapter really, they need to change that. Like, they need to fix it, because that was kind of a spoiler. See, these are things that I don't need to know. You know, like, this is stuff that would be much better served as a surprise in the story. You know, let me use my wit on the fly. Don't make me dwell on how I can play out this future Oton thing that hasn't even happened yet. Or that I haven't even had a hint of happening yet. Come on. Come on, game. That is unfortunate. On that note, I'm gonna top off my water and probably get some chapstick. I'll be right back. All right. The question is, do I want to actually mouse over the rest of these? Because I am a little disappointed by that first one. Not because of what it is, but because I wish I didn't know that beforehand. That is an event that would have been nice to have as a surprise, you know? True death is a possibility in this chapter. Or even just regular death is a possibility in this chapter. So that's something that we need to consider. I suppose maybe it was a possibility in all chapters. All right. All right. We'll figure out how to go about this. So chapter 4 looks like it's gonna be hard. Oh, we can earn being ennobled by the sword. The Brante family becomes a hereditary dynasty of nobles of the sword. Very cool. Favored by the overseer, heir of the family. Well, that's not good. The family falls apart. Huh. Events that can happen to the Brante family in this chapter. A family of means becomes wealthy. Mother recovers. Robert adopts Gloria. Oh man, can we make that happen? Do I have the ability to make that happen? But you see, if he... that's why those things go hand in hand. Those things go hand in hand right there. Gloria Brante. So, look, I'm just gonna... Since they're gonna put it out there, I'm just gonna use all this to strategize already anyway. So Gloria Brante can be adopted by Robert, my father, right? But I'm pretty sure if they do that, the family name would be branded by dishonor. What the fudge? Okay, so I'm gonna back it up here for 1 second. So to be favored by the overseer, the family cannot be in ruins. Okay. Broken chains. I saw something that was a little bit pertinent here. Otan faces the court of honor. Conditions not branded by dishonor. So that might also have to do with how we need to approach Gloria, depending on the situation with Otan. Okay. That would just be wild though. I mean, I said it in chapter 1, right? That I was gonna become a noble, become a judge, and I was gonna address this Gloria situation. The sections that open in this chapter, occupation screen is now available. Okay, let's check it out. Okay. Okay, so now we got 2 new things to consider under the occupation tab. Let's check out this destiny tab real quick. This just kind of reviews outcomes of previous chapters. We did not die at all in chapter 3, which is very cool. The lot list did not collapse because that is kind of gonna be our path. Yes. All right. So I feel very satisfied so far with the outcome of chapter 3. Played it exactly how I wanted it to be played. You know, nothing too radical, but at the same time, it was time to show our stripes a little bit, which is exactly what we did. And we still managed to be ennobled by the mantle, so that's always exciting stuff. Homecoming. The carriage stops. The familiar gate, your bedroom window, the same one you used to climb out of at night from time to time. The well-tended garden with its imported soil, delightful greenery, and mother's beloved violet irises. The porch you used to jump off of when you were little. You are home. You touch the handle of the front door and halt for a moment. It has been 4 years since you left for Eterna, but it feels like yesterday. The air inside is cool, as usual, Father cannot stand a stuffy room and insists on constantly airing out the house. You hear hurried footsteps coming from the direction of Father's study. Before you have time to take off your traveling cloak, you are crushed in Stefan's strong embrace. Dagon! Your brother has grown taller and more broad-shouldered. When he detaches himself from you, you notice how harsh his features have become. He looks even more like grandfather now. You've grown so much over the last 4 years, Beef. Just look at you. You left a low-born boy, but you've come back, Sir Brante. I'm so glad you've joined us in the noble estate. You respond by giving your brother a wrapped gift. Stefan unwraps it carefully. When he sees the sword, a boyish smile appears on his stern face. It's beautiful. What a wonderful gift, brother. Maybe I should start a collection. What do you think? There's no hurry, Stefan. And now let me have a look at the prefecture's new judge. Father approaches you, his hand extended. You shake it and wrap your arms around him. Father looks older. His back is hunched and he squints. There are deep lines around his mouth and silver threads in his dark hair and mustache. Taking a step back, Father examines you from head to toe. What fine posture. You had excellent teachers. I'm so proud you made it, son. Mother comes out of the living room leaning on Nathan's arm. You immediately see signs of the illness you read in the letters from back home. Her back is bent. Her hair is gray. A thin web of wrinkles cover her face, and her complexion has lost its color. She can barely stand unassisted. Nathan leads Mother to you. Slowly, very delicately, she embraces you. You press your face into her shoulder, breathing in the nearly forgotten, dearly beloved smell. Mother holds your shoulders and studies your face for a long time. You've been away so long, son. How you've grown. Just a short while ago, I was cradling you in my arms. You look so much like your father when he was your age, Sir Beef Brante. Nathan approaches you next. Your younger brother is now as tall as you are, and his hair almost reaches his shoulders, but he still has the same lost look in his eye as he had when he was a boy. And here's your ne'er-do-well little brother. He hasn't changed a bit or grown an inch after all this time. He couldn't get into the seminary, so he just hangs around. Nathan lets out a heavy sigh and awkwardly puts his arms around you. I'm glad to see you back, Beef. Home just hasn't been the same without you. You hear a snort behind you. Everyone turns. At the top of the stairs stands Gloria, her arms across her chest. She is dressed as a man, in culottes, a frock coat, and a necktie with a massive pin. The entire family waits for her to greet you. Stefan shakes his head disapprovingly. Your sister descends as if forcing herself to do it. A few steps away from you, Gloria stops and bows. Welcome to your home, Sir Brante. Your sister looks thinner and leaner than she used to. She has dark circles under her eyes, as though she's been sleeping too little or crying too much. Enough pleasantries. Come on in, the table is set. Lydia has prepared a veritable feast for you. For the first time in years, your entire family is together. You can finally spend time with another member of your family today. Alright, well, I see the game is just coming out right off the bat with making me choose between family members. I feel like I'm on a really good page with Stefan now that I'm a noble. Nathan, I left off with him pretty well. We lost points on everybody really at that one point, but Gloria, Mother is like midfield right now, and Gloria is like way in the hole. So I think we need to start, in order to find balance in all of this, now that we know that the family can literally fall apart in this chapter, we need to make sure that we are on, or at least do our best to stay on communicative terms with everybody, because I'm sure it'll make us choose, you know what I mean? But right now we have the opportunity to try to rewind some of the clock here. At the table, you try to ask Gloria about her life, but your sister dodges your questions. I live, I suffer, I help around the house, I know my place, just like a low-born girl is supposed to. Then keep silent, Gloria. Your brother doesn't care about the affairs of commoners anymore. Instead, why don't you tell us if you've made any useful acquaintances, Beef? Our family would benefit from some good connections right now. You have to relate the 4 years you spent in Eterna. Only later that night, when the family is getting ready for bed, do you manage to have a conversation with your sister by the smoldering fireplace. Good, because Stefan kinda ruined that. You assure Gloria that your noble title will not come between you. She is still your sister. Gloria casts a wary glance at you. So your sword and title haven't changed you after all? Giving into her feelings at last, Gloria buries her face in your shoulder. You caress your sister's disheveled locks. I really hope you'll always be my brother, Beef. Mother, Nathan, and I, we all seem to be unwanted in this house. Sir Robert spends all of his time at work, so Stefan has been running the household. It's taken a heavy toll on Mother. I can see her losing her will to live. You know, at her age, she might pass away forever and not be reborn. She had to endure a lot before she met Sir Robert, and her illness is consuming her. All Stefan cares about is getting the family ennobled by the sword. He'd sacrifice anyone for it. I'm worried the first thing he's going to do is drive me out of the house, so I won't take the Brante name with my origins. I'm just an obstacle to him, a hindrance. Yeah, which is all stuff that I could already foresee given the possibilities of events at the beginning of the chapter. But we'll see. We'll try to make it work, man. You know, Beef, I'm not sure how much longer I can tolerate this injustice. Times are changing. If I'm lowborn, that doesn't mean I'm going to serve the nobles until my true death. All over the Empire, commoners are fighting for their rights. Gloria suddenly cuts herself short. For a long time, you sit in silence, listening to the crackling fireplace. The Brante family is about to face some challenging times. I believe it. So, Stefan, -1, that's alright. We're still at +3. We can afford that. Gloria, back up to indifference. Cool. It's gonna be a trade-off. Every time, it's gonna be a trade-off. First day of service. Your service as a judge begins today. You get dressed early in the morning, donning a brand new jacket with a cravat and hat. It's an immaculate look, if you dare say so yourself. You head to the prefecture with father. The prefecture moved recently. It now occupies a massive new building of white sandstone in the very center of Anazat. A stone statue looms above it. The sword of the younger twin, the divine law that directs worldly judgment. All legal disputes in the province are to be resolved here. You and father walk up the marbled stairs past the commoners, merchants and lesser nobles, all petitioners and litigants, huddled by the pillars. Well now, my son, here you shall begin your service to the Empire, in the midst of the great struggle I told you about. If you don't mind a little advice, you will serve under Sir Elborn. Follow my example and stay close to your superior. He is a human of great worth and practically your relative. Yeah, I get it. I like Elborn, honestly. From that dinner that we had all those years ago, he's not like he doesn't act Arknian or anything like that, you know what I mean? Like, he's really chill. But he is a noble, an Elborn, an L. He's L in his title, so he's like a higher noble as well. I think he's still a human though, I don't think he's Arknian. You walk past the courtroom and up to the second floor where judges work in their offices and receive petitioners. The corridors are many and narrow, filled with the smell of old papers and the sounds of muffled, mumbling voices, and secretaries and gendarmes running to and fro. Father guides you down a corridor that ends with the door to Sir Elborn's office. Beef, it is time for you to stand before the prefect. Remember the friendship between our families. You knock and enter. The spacious oak-paneled office is not without decoration, yet its adornments are tasteful and elegant rather than garish. Garish? The flag of Magra bearing the silver tree hangs on the wall. Behind an imposing desk sits Baron Augustin Elborn, surrounded by papers. His face wears a focused expression. You recall from his visits in the past, although it is more wrinkled than you remember. He looks up and his face comes to life. He rises and extends a hand to you. Why, young Beef Brante, what a pleasure it is to see you again. I see your years at the capital have turned you into a stately young man. I was told you proved yourself quite capable at the college. The city of Anazat needs worthy judges who know their craft now more than ever. Allow me to welcome you into service for the good of the Empire. I'm sure you already know the basics of judicial work. Serving at the prefecture, however, takes more than finding your way through our laws. Although they are quite labyrinth and contradictory, there's no denying that. Anyway, you look in our province, anywhere you look in our province, you will see friction between the estates. Old noble blood, new nobles, rich commoners, poor commoners, they all have their legal disputes. And we judges work here to make sure this pot never boils over. If we are too eager to follow the traditions of old and bow to noble privilege, the common estate will grow desperate and lose all hope for freedom. But if we openly side with the commoners, the nobles' ire will be quick to find us. And so, Judge Brante, I ask you to be wary and wise. Peace hangs by a thread in this province. Carefully consider every decision you make at court before rendering your verdict. But first you need to get accustomed to your new position. You shall begin at once. The prefecture has already assigned you a number of legal proceedings to review and judge. Your office is ready and waiting for you, Sir Brante. The instructions are over. The work begins. You recognize your new office by the brass plate on the door reading Sir Beef Brante, Judge. You find it rather cramped on the inside, yet still reasonably comfortable. The sturdy desk has all the stationery you need. Behind the desk is a large chair of carved wood, and in front of it are several smaller chairs for petitioners. Heavy curtains hang over the windows. Worthy opponents for the morning light trying to shine through. There are papers on the desk already, including instructions, orders, rulings, and all sorts of other prefecture paperwork. You're about to begin when you hear a sudden knock at the door. The source of the disturbance turns out to be a stout, smartly dressed nobleman. He greets you with an elegant bow you would not have expected from such a sizable individual. Holy sh... Carlo Fockgraben. Carlo Fockgraben? Okay. Yeah. This is... It's built like King Henry VIII or whatever. That's a big son of a gun. Sir Brante, congratulations on your first day of service. Allow me to introduce myself, Judge Carlo Fockgraben. I'm gonna read it like I'm German or something. A humble servant of the law like yourself. It is my hope that we will become fast friends. Well, you know, just try to leave me some food every time we go to lunch, alright? And now, if I may, a word of warning to help your work progress smoothly. As a token of our future friendship, I am aware that Sir Elborn is your immediate superior. As a loyal servant of the Empire, you will of course take his word as your guide. Yet there is no reason to neglect all the other judges at the prefecture, all of whom are noblemen of great worth. Their guidance will most certainly aid you as a judge. Look, I don't need 50 million people telling me how to do my job. Alright? I went to college for this. Right? I know what I'm doing. It will be my pleasure, Sir Brante, to facilitate your introduction to the noble judges of the prefecture as soon as possible. I see glory in your future service to the Empire, yet it certainly cannot hurt to receive reassurance and support when you might need it most. I shall not detain you any longer, but if you wish to make some valuable connections, my office is right across from your own. I need to have them install a smaller door to keep this guy out of my face. Another elegant bow from Judge Fockgraben, and the door closes. You are alone at your desk once again. The scorching sun is rising over the province behind the window. Today is an important day, the day when you are to take your first steps in your new profession. What will you focus on today? Prepare to deal with your first cases. Yeah, we're good with Father. You know what I mean? Like, he couldn't be more happy. So what I will do is I will take the initiative here and get acquainted with the judges. Yeah, we'll do that. Sir Fockgraben offers seems rather reasonable now that you think about it. You dedicate some time to the cases and necessary paperwork, then shift the case folders aside and walk to the office across from yours. Judge Fockgraben greets you warmly. Sir Brante, how splendid of you to stop by. Come, let us pay a few visits to the most distinguished of your new colleagues. I'm sure they will be delighted to make the acquaintance of such a promising young man. With that, Fockgraben leads you through the corridors of the prefecture. As you walk down the hall, he starts mentioning other judges by name and origin, age and experience, power and influence. You stop by a number of other judges' offices. Hours pass in dignified greetings, bowing, pats on the shoulder, and courteous conversation. One after another, the judges make it quite clear to you that when a noble and a commoner clash in the courtroom, the court is to side with the noble every time, no matter how affluent the commoner may be. Only when both parties hail from the common estate may a judge fully rely upon the rule of law. See, that doesn't sound about right. I guess maybe it does, which is kind of unfortunate. Before you know it, your first day at the prefecture is over. Just look at how much you've accomplished in just one day, Brante. So many experienced judges, and you've made a splendid impression on all of them. Your future is all but assured now, I guarantee it. But remember, courteous words are not the only thing that matters at the prefecture. Your decisions will not go unnoticed. Beef, my friend, I greatly hope your youthful exuberance will not result in any gaffes that may hinder our mutual effort at maintaining order in our province. Act with wisdom in mind, especially when the wisdom of your colleagues is always within reach. You say farewell to the eloquent, affable judge and walk to the carriage outside waiting to take you home. With so many useful acquaintances made at the prefecture today, your career will surely prosper. However, there is a burden of expectation upon you. They want you to fall in line and side with noble privilege without a second thought. However, the conflict between the noble and the common estates is growing tenser by the day. It will only become harder to uphold the law in the future, of course. Okay, so we lost 1 point on justice. Not a consequence that I expected. Career +1, a consequence that I did expect. I'd like to be floating somewhere around future prefect. We're looking good right now. We're looking good because we're on the high side of future or high side of judge, but we're also on the low side of fight for justice. We can fix that. Began service at the prefecture. You started your service at the prefecture of Magra. A reception at the Brante residence. You come back home after a short stroll through the city. As soon as you set foot in the house, you are greeted by Stefan, who invites you to have a talk in Father's office. When you enter the room, Father has a heap of letters in front of him and is signing them one after the other. Son, Stefan and I must discuss an important matter with you. While you were in the capital, our family formally petitioned the overseer to grant us the nobility of the sword. We have 3 generations of noble blood already. We have the right to make our nobility hereditary. Your grandfather took the first steps towards the nobility of the sword as soon as Stefan was born, and now we are on the brink of becoming El Brantes. If Overseer Gaius Tempest and the nobles of the province deem us worthy, we will receive a hereditary title. All nobles of the Brante family will remain noble forever, as will their descendants. Father and I do our utmost to maintain the family's position, but our goal can be reached only if our reputation remains unblemished in the eyes of high society. The nobility is watching our every step. Father lays a hand on your shoulder. This better not be about Gloria. Now this is your cause too. The future of our family depends on it. We need an estimable reputation and wealth. Everyone bearing the name of Brante affects it. Remember that with every action you take, Beef. You'll have to appear before Anazat High Society. We're going to host a reception for the nobility at our home soon. You must uphold the honor of our family, brother. You'll relate the news from Eterna to our guests and present yourself in a favorable light. With Stefan at the helm, the entire family spends a full week preparing for the majestic reception. The house is flooded with decorations and new tableware. Delicacies are cooking in the kitchen round the clock, and the napkins now bear an embroidered oak branch in chains, the Brante family crest. Gloria is the only one to neglect the common cause. Were it up to me, I wouldn't be seen at this hypocritical gathering, but I don't want to let Sir Robert down. He's the only reason I plan to stay for the event. The evening of the reception has come. Dignified conversations and the clinking of glasses fill the house. Among your guests are many high-born, powerful people. Your father and Stefan dance from guest to guest, making sure no one is overlooked. Augustin L. Bourne. Young Beef, how splendid to see you. So what was your time in the capital like? You exchanged pleasantries with a high-placed relative. Meanwhile, Gloria and Mother spend the evening on a settee by the wall without drawing any attention. Neither your father nor your elder brother introduced them to the noble guests. Still one of the guests, a young nobleman of the sword, named Jose L. Pelletier, keeps staring at Gloria in fascination. Your sister averts her eyes, bemused. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. Because all right, let's just go ahead and speculate now. So Jose L. Pelletier, right? So he's a nobleman of the sword. Can't trust these guys. You know, you can't, because the more positive side of me wants to think that, oh, well, Gloria, you know, might be able to woo a nobleman, especially one of the sword, and make it out of the hole of inequity. Which doesn't change my cause to flip things on its head, but at least it'll hopefully bring her happiness, right? But that's the optimistic side. The realistic side is that this guy just finds her beautiful and wants to use her, and then he knows, as well as anybody else, that his station can't be tested with the lowborn pangs, you know, and she might find herself actually dishonored and shamed. She might actually find herself in the exact same position as her mother, you know, maybe not exact same, but caught up with a child out of wedlock by a nobleman, you know, and they probably wouldn't go as well for Gloria. They say there's a sucker born every minute, but, you know, her mother kind of got lucky when she met father, I guess you could say. Anyway, so do I condone the motions? No, not really. Not really. I don't think I should. I really don't think I should. There's got to be a different way. Lady Gloria, you are the true gem of the evening. You look so marvelously daring. I haven't seen your like even in the capital. Right, back it up, buddy. When you walk past Gloria, you hear her hurried whisper. Beef, please talk to me. This Sir L. Pelletier keeps following me. I feel uneasy. What does he want from me? I'm just a lowly commoner. Come with me to the other side of the room, although I'll probably still stand out among all these refined nobles. Look, it's Brante, the painter. I wonder what's brought him so far from the capital. It would be fabulous if he could paint our family portrait. We should all be on canvas together. We're one big happy family after all. Wine glass in hand, you cast a look across the crowded room. It is time to choose how you will spend the evening. Well, dang! I don't really have any choices, do I? Okay, so I guess because I didn't win the tournament, I can't brag about it. And because I'm not manipulative, I can't get a family portrait. And my diplomacy is 2 points short of sharing the news from the capital. So I guess I will present my mother and sister. Even though they are lowborn, your mother and sister deserve the attention of the guests, which I guess I still do actually stand by that, so I didn't really get screwed over too bad here. I probably did, I just don't know yet. You take your mother and sister by the arm and lead them to the middle of the room. You ask if you can have everyone's attention for a moment in order to present the hostesses of the evening. May I present Lydia Brante, wife of Sir Robert, and their daughter Gloria. Wait. And their daughter Gloria. Wording's important on that one. The guests avert their gaze in confusion. Mother bows with difficulty in response, while Gloria supports her by her shoulders. My esteemed guests, it is a great honor for us to have you in our home. Although we are not all of noble descent, the Brante family will always strive to give you the welcome you deserve. Father, dumbfounded, walks up to Mother and takes her hand. You order the musicians to start playing. Father has no choice but to dance with his wife. The guests whisper disdainfully to one another, but maintain decorum and join the dance. Stefan, furious, rushes up to you. Look, buddy. How dare you? You're not a child anymore, Beef. Why draw the nobility's attention to the fact that we still have all these commoners in our family? You retort that this is what the Brontes are. If Stefan is so concerned about his family, he has to acknowledge the existence of Lydia, Gloria, and Nathan, not try to conceal them from the rest of the world. With an aggrieved air, Stefan rejoins the guests. Your parents keep dancing slowly. The illness has taken Mother's former grace. A father carefully holds her, as if carrying her along with him. Gloria watches them, mesmerized. It took a lot of courage, Beef. Let everyone see that our family is more than our title and position. We're people, too. Father and Mother finally finish the dance and come back to you. Mother gives you and Gloria a gentle hug. Oh, that's special. I feel like this will all work out in our favor in the long run anyway. It's gonna bring on some hard times for sure. But, yeah. That was a wonderful idea, son. My legs aren't what they used to be, but it's been so long since I danced with Robert. The night is over. After the guests leave, you discuss the future of the family long into the night. So Gloria +1, cool. Stefan -1, naturally. Unity is +1, so we're at disagreements. But our reputation took a hit. Okay, so what we can't do is we can't lose another point on reputation. Yeah, we can't drop below a 4. All right. By any means, other than sacrificing Nathan to the tree or something. Anyway, let's see where we're at. So we're at an hour and 45 minutes now for this this stream of the life and suffering of Sir Brante. Still enjoying this very much. We're in chapter 4 now, and I think there's 5 chapters, but I'm pretty sure chapter 4 is going to be a long one, so that'll work out pretty well, I think. It's Monday. We'll probably get back to this week as well. I don't know what day for sure because there's so much on my streaming plate currently, and I've been making little improvements here and there to the stream. We're still sticking with the original idea of keeping like a simple, clean appearance to the stream rather than having a bunch of clutter and fanciness and whatnot. But there is a game plan for future improvements in the near future. As you can see, I do things. I hope you guys have been enjoying the new microphone. I was thinking it would really shine for this stream, but my voice is still a bit nasally. I'm still having some sinus issues, so we'll give and take where we can. But yes, I appreciate you joining me for another BeefTube stream, and we will pick up right here next time we stream this game. Yes, I appreciate you guys very much, and thanks for sticking around.